There is a woman in Kyoto who wakes up before the city begins to hum. She does not reach for a phone, she does not panic about a caloric deficit, and she certainly does not jump into an agonizing, high-intensity workout that leaves her trembling and exhausted. She understands something that the Western world has completely forgotten in its obsession with crushing it. She understands Hara Hachi Bu, the ancient wisdom of the 80%. While the West treats the body like a machine that must be forced into submission through starvation and aggressive cardio, the Japanese view the body as a garden that must be nurtured. When you treat your metabolism like a machine to be broken, your body panics. It views your aggressive dieting as a threat to survival, spiking your cortisol levels, locking down your fat stores, and stalling your metabolism in a desperate bid to preserve energy. This is why you can count every calorie, eat nothing but greens, and yet your waistline remains unchanged. You are fighting a hormonal war that you are destined to lose. The Japanese secret is not to fight, but to align. It is to use gentle, invisible shifts that signal to your nervous system that it is safe to burn fat. Let us begin with the first vital habit, Sayu, the practice of drinking a single glass of warm, pure water, roughly 50 degrees Celsius, immediately upon waking. In the West, we have been conditioned to jumpstart our mornings with a hit of stimulants. We walk into the kitchen and reach for coffee, a bitter, acidic shock to an empty, dehydrated stomach. This is a massive mistake. You are pouring fuel on a fire that is already struggling to ignite. When you hit a dehydrated, cortisol-rising body with caffeine, you are effectively telling your internal organs to brace for impact. Your body responds by dumping stress hormones into your blood, which creates the exact state of sympathetic nervous system activation that halts fat burning. In contrast, Sayu is the quietest, most powerful metabolic trigger imaginable. This warmth does not shock, it integrates. It gently penetrates the core, warming your internal organs and physically stimulating the digestive tract into motion. Studies have shown that this simple, hot water ritual can increase your basal metabolic rate, your resting calorie burning potential, by 10 to 12% for the entire day. It induces an immediate, natural flow of bile and activates intestinal peristalsis, clearing the system of stagnant waste without a single milligram of caffeine. You are not stimulating yourself, you are aligning yourself. Now, let us address the second habit, which is perhaps the most shocking to the Western palate, the total elimination of ice-cold liquids during and after meals. We are addicted to the refreshment of ice water. We drink it with lunch, we drink it with dinner, believing it to be the healthiest choice. But stop for a moment. Think about what happens when you pour ice-cold water onto hot food. What happens to the fats? They harden, they congeal. When you consume ice-cold water while eating, you are literally quenching your digestive fire. This is not just a poetic metaphor, it is physiological reality. The extreme cold constricts the delicate blood vessels in your stomach lining and causes the natural digestive enzymes, the very chemicals meant to dissolve your food, to lose their efficacy. The fats from your meal do not break down efficiently. They solidify, creating a heavy, sludge-like burden that your digestive system struggles to transport. Your metabolism grinds to a halt because it is spending all its energy just trying to warm your stomach back up to body temperature. The Japanese person, by contrast, drinks only warm green tea, room temperature water, or a nourishing cup of miso soup during a meal. By maintaining the internal temperature of the stomach, they ensure that enzymes are operating at peak performance and that nutrients are absorbed instantly, leaving no room for the sluggishness that creates visceral fat. The shift is simple. Stop dousing your internal fire. By keeping your temperature stable, you become a furnace, not a refrigerator. You are finally, after all these years, allowing your metabolism to do the work it was designed to do, naturally and without struggle. Look at your reflection in the mirror tonight. You might be lean, you might even be fit, and yet there it is, that persistent, stubborn protrusion of the lower abdomen that refuses to vanish. You have done the crunches, you have held the planks until your muscles screamed. You have restricted your calories to the point of irritability, and yet the shape remains. Why? Because the Western fitness industry has lied to you. It has told you that a belly is always a layer of fat. But in many cases, what you are seeing is not a fat problem. It is a structural, skeletal deformation. We live our lives in a chair. We sit at desks, we sit in cars, we sit on couches, and over the years, our bodies have adapted to this sedentary prison. This adaptation is called anterior pelvic tilt. Because of our constant seated posture, the hip flexors tighten, the pelvis rotates forward, and the lower back arches inward. When your pelvis tips forward, like a bowl of water being poured out, your internal organs, your stomach, your intestines, your liver, have nowhere to go. They literally spill forward, creating the illusion of a belly, even if you have almost no body fat. You cannot crunch your way out of a skeletal misalignment. This is where the wisdom of Dr. Fukutsudzi comes in. He understood that the secret to a flat waistline is not found in the gym, but in the structural integrity of your core. Enter habit 3. The static stretching method on a towel roll. It takes exactly 5 minutes. You roll a standard bath towel into a firm, cylinder-shaped log about 10 centimeters thick. You lie down on a flat floor. Place this roll directly under your lower back, specifically where your lumbar curve meets your pelvis, and you stretch your arms above your head with your palms facing down and your big toes touching. That is it. You do not move. You do not strain. You simply exist in this position for 5 minutes. What is happening internally is a complete physiological reset. By forcing the pelvis back into a neutral horizontal alignment, you are providing the room your organs need to sit back into their natural anatomical home. The immediate result is a shift in the tone of your transverse abdominis, the deep, corset-like muscle that wraps around your spine. When your pelvis is in a forward tilt, this muscle is perpetually lengthened and weak, unable to hold your torso together. But as you lie on the roll, you are physically decompressing the spine and coaxing the ribcage back into alignment with the hips. The transverse abdominis, suddenly given its correct structural length, begins to fire automatically. It is the difference between trying to hold a bag of groceries with a limp, exhausted arm versus a braced, strong limb. When you stand up after those 5 minutes, you will feel a sensation of being tall. Your ribs are no longer collapsing into your waist. Your belly, no longer pushed out by the weight of your internal organs, appears flatter immediately. This is the beauty of Japanese structural thinking. We aren't trying to burn the belly. We are trying to stop the physical deformation that hides your real shape. Westerners focus on the surface, the fat, the skin, the abdominal muscles they can see in the mirror. The Japanese approach focuses on the container, the bones and the posture that define your silhouette. Stop fighting your muscles with useless sit-ups that only serve to tighten your hip flexors and worsen your posture. Stop viewing your belly as a storage bin for failure. Start viewing it as a structural issue that needs to be decompressed. 5 minutes of static lying on a towel roll can do more for the appearance of your waistline than an hour of aggressive, cortisol-spiking cardio. You are not just changing your look. You are returning to the anatomical design that nature intended. The organs return to their proper place, the corset muscle activates, and the belly simply vanishes because it was never really there to begin with. It was just a posture waiting to be corrected. We have addressed the metabolism and the structure, but now we must confront the most dangerous territory of all, your hunger. In the West, we have been conditioned to view fullness as the ultimate goal. We are taught to finish the plate, to clean the bowl, to eat until we feel that heavy, lethargic state we call being stuffed. We believe this is satisfaction. But look at what this does to your hormones. When you eat past the point of comfort, you are not just adding calories, you are physically stretching the walls of your stomach and systematically desensitizing your leptin receptors, the very sensors your body uses to tell your brain, I have enough. You are training your body to be permanently hungry, perpetually unsatisfied, and constantly chasing the next hit of dopamine that food provides. This is the fullness trap, and it is the primary reason for the modern metabolic crisis. Enter habit 4, Hara Hachi Bu, the ancient Japanese principle of stopping at 80%. This is not a diet rule, it is a neurological calibration. In the Japanese tradition, the stomach is seen as a space that requires ma, the intentional gap, to function. If you fill a container to the brim, you cannot shake it, you cannot stir it, and nothing can move within it. Your stomach is no different. When you stop eating when you are 80% full, you are leaving just enough room for the digestive process to occur naturally and efficiently. You are signaling to your endocrine system that you are in control of your intake, not a slave to the sensation of being overstuffed. Think about the psychological cost of the Western clean plate mentality. We eat until we are heavy, and then what happens? We hit the afternoon slump. We feel tired, we feel bloated, and our cognitive focus drops off a cliff. This is the result of a massive, sudden insulin spike followed by a crash. You have overwhelmed your body's ability to process the fuel, and your brain is now drowning in the inflammatory response. But when you practice Hara Hachi Bu, you never reach that point of heavy, sluggish lethargy. Because you have left that vital 20% of space, your body does not have to divert all its blood flow to the stomach to manage an emergency. You maintain your energy. You maintain your mental clarity. Most importantly, you keep your dopamine system intact. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of anticipation and pursuit. When you eat until you are completely full, you effectively kill the dopamine signal. You have completed the reward cycle so aggressively that your brain loses interest in everything else. This is why you feel the need to nap or zone out after a massive meal. By stopping at 80%, you maintain a higher baseline of dopamine. You feel light, you feel capable, and you feel ready for the next task. You are not starving. You are simply choosing to be light enough to be agile. The shift is difficult only because we are addicted to the feeling of fullness. We think fullness equals safety. But true safety, metabolically speaking, is found in the ability to process what you eat without putting your body into a state of inflammatory distress. When you leave the table still feeling slightly hungry, you are not failing. You are succeeding. You are honoring the grace of your own digestive system. You are practicing the ultimate form of self-respect. Stop stretching your capacity. Stop overwhelming your chemistry. Master the gap, and you will master your appetite. You will find that when you stop at 80%, you are no longer chasing the next meal. You are simply living in the vibrant, energized space between them. We have discussed how much to eat, but now we must address the how, the tactical order of your intake. You could eat the cleanest, most organic meals in the world, but if you consume them in a chaotic, stress-riddled sequence, you are practically handing your body an invitation to store fat around your middle. In the West, we treat a meal like a demolition project. We throw carbohydrates, fats, and proteins into the stomach in a messy, indiscriminate heap. This sends a glucose spike signal to your pancreas, forcing a massive sledgehammer release of insulin. Insulin is not just a hormone, it is a storage architect. When insulin levels are high, your body is biologically forbidden from accessing its fat stores. You are essentially locked in a fat storage mode, and no amount of clean eating will unlock that door until you change your sequence. This leads us to habit 5, tabekata, the Japanese art of the sequence of consumption. A Japanese meal is never a singular mixed mass. It is a choreographed rhythm. You start with the fiber, the greens, the fermented vegetables, the seaweed. By consuming fiber first, you create a physical, viscous mesh, a literal barrier in your stomach. When the proteins and fats arrive, they are greeted by this mesh, which slows their digestion.
Finally, when you consume your carbohydrates, such as rice, their glucose release is dampened, filtered, and smoothed out by the fiber and protein that came before. There is no sharp spike. There is no emergency insulin dump. Your body remains in a steady, calm, fat-burning state rather than a frantic fat storage state. You are managing your glucose so effectively that your body never feels the need to sequester energy in your midsection. It is not about what you eat, it is about the architecture of your intake. Now, let us turn to habit 6, the secret of neat activity. The Western fitness culture is obsessed with the punishing hour. We sit for 10 hours at a desk, our metabolism falling into a deep slumber, and then we rush to the gym to do 45 minutes of intense, high-impact cardio. We leave the gym feeling depleted, our cortisol levels skyrocketing. That surge in cortisol, the primary enemy of a flat stomach, tells your body that you are under threat, and the body's response to a perceived threat is to store visceral fat right around your vital organs. It is a biological survival mechanism, and your gym routine is triggering it. The Japanese approach is not about intensity, it is about continuity. They rely on NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. They don't do the hour of punishment, they do the day of movement. They stand in the train instead of sitting. They walk to the station. They climb stairs. They engage their core stabilizers just by moving through their environment with intention. This constant, low-level background activity keeps the metabolic furnace stoked all day without ever triggering a stress response. You are burning fat not through exhaustion, but through a steady, persistent hum of movement. You are keeping your insulin low and your cortisol suppressed. This is the secret to the flat stomach look. You don't get it by crushing yourself in a gym. You get it by refusing to be sedentary for 8 hours and then frantic for 1. You are moving as a human was designed to move, constantly, easily, and without ever pushing your hormones into a state of panic. When you stop the cycle of sedentary then stressed, your body finally realizes it can let go of the fat it has been hoarding for protection. You become a fat-burning machine simply by existing in a state of flow. We have reached the final gate. You have optimized your morning, corrected your posture, mastered your hunger, and aligned your daily movement. But there is one area where the Western approach is arguably the most destructive. We treat sleep as a shutdown process, a passive state where we just happen to be unconscious. We crawl into bed after a day of stress, clutching our phones, our minds still racing with the adrenaline of the evening. We wonder why we wake up with a thicker waistline and a fog in our brain. You are missing the most powerful fat-burning mechanism you possess, your own biology in the dark. Habit 7 is Ofuro, the ritual of the Japanese hot bath taken exactly 90 minutes before sleep. This is not about hygiene. This is about neurobiology. Your body is designed to burn fat most efficiently during deep, slow-wave sleep, primarily through the release of somatotropin, the growth hormone that acts as a natural fat dissolver. But growth hormone will not be released if your nervous system is trapped in a state of high alert. If you jump from your desk directly into bed, your body is still in fight or flight mode. Ofuro acts as the ultimate physiological bridge. When you soak in warm water, you are physically forcing your nervous system to transition from the sympathetic, stress-driven state into the parasympathetic,
rest and digest mode. As you soak, your core temperature rises. When you step out, your body temperature begins a gradual, steady decline. This cooling phase is the precise biological signal your brain needs to initiate a massive, powerful surge of melatonin. This isn't just about falling asleep. It is about guaranteeing the depth of that sleep. By cooling down, you lock yourself into the deep cycle recovery, where your body, finally safe and relaxed, begins to harvest energy from your fat stores. You are literally burning fat while you dream. Westerners take showers for convenience. The Japanese take baths for hormonal recalibration. It is the nightly reset that turns your body from a storage vault into a furnace. This is your final catharsis. Look at the path we have laid out. Western dieting fails because it is an act of violence. It is built on the premise that your body is wrong and must be forced, starved, and punished into a different shape. That path is a dead end. It is a path of cortisol, stress, and eventual metabolic collapse. The Japanese way, the path of Hara Hachi Bu, is an act of wisdom. It is the realization that your body is not your enemy. It is a sophisticated hormonal ecosystem that responds to signals, not force. You don't need another gym membership. You don't need a radical diet plan that leaves you miserable. You need to stop triggering the stress response that locks your fat cells shut. Start your day with warm water. Correct your posture with a simple towel roll. Leave room in your stomach to breathe, and move with the rhythm of the day. End your night by letting the warmth of a bath dissolve the stress of your labor. These are not hacks. They are the natural conditions under which a human body thrives. Your stomach was never the problem. The problem was the constant background friction you were creating against your own nature. Tonight, choose a different way.
Take the hot bath. Leave the phone in the other room. Let your body relax, let your hormones find their balance, and watch what happens when you finally stop fighting yourself. You are not just losing weight, you are regaining your natural, vibrant state. That is the true Japanese secret. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.